Translation. Krishna, the reservoir of all pleasure, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Supreme Controller. No one is greater or equal to Sri Krishna, yet he appears as the son of Maharaj Nanda. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. In this verse, Kaviraj Goswami gives an accurate description of Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by stating that although no one is equal to or greater than him, he is the reservoir of all spiritual pleasure. He nevertheless appears as the son of Maharaj Nanda and Yashoda Mai. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurulmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vancha Kalpataribhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami is glorifying Krishna here as the reservoir of all pleasure. His name is Ram, which means the reservoir of all pleasure. All types of pleasures, actually everything originates from Krishna. So pleasure also originates from him. And why is this very important? Because we are all looking for pleasure. Every living entity is looking for pleasure. From the insects in the ground, the birds in the air, the beasts and animals on the ground, as well as the human beings. And that ultimate pleasure comes from Krishna and is in him in full. Like that. And then he explains that his position as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Supreme Controller. Yeah? No one, he further clarifies it saying no one is greater than or equal to Sri Krishna. Yet he appears as the son of Nand Maharaj. So, actually, even in Bhagavad Gita, text 7 of the 7th chapter also says the same thing. Matta parataram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya mai sarvam idam protam sutre manigana iva. So he says that, O Arjuna, O winner of wealth, there is no truth superior to, equal to me or superior to me. Everything rests upon me as pearls are strung on a thread. Like that. So Krishna is clarifying his position that he is above all. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Like that. So let's see how he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and how no one is equal to him or greater than him. And yet, by his own mercy, how he manifests his greatness. So, it is said in the Srimad Bhagavatam that Niurta Tarsher Upagya Manat Bhava Sadacharotra Manobhiramat Ka Uttama Shloka Gunanuvadat Puman Virajeta Vinapashugnat. That descriptions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they are carried on in the disciplic succession. Such descriptions, are which are glorifying him. They are the medicine in this age for the afflicted condition of the conditioned souls. We are all troubled by, Adi Bhautik, Adhyatmik, Adi Daivik kleshas. And Maya doesn't leave us alone because we are not yet capable of taking care of ourselves responsibly, taking shelter of spiritual life. And so Maya is always there behind us and she troubles us. So this description of the Lord, it is the medicine, for this age. And one who who can therefore cease glorifying the Lord except, it says, if he is a animal killer or one who is killing his own self, Atma Hatyara. So, if we don't want to be killers of our soul, and if we want to be, don't want to be animals, then the verse says, then we have to glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and that is the medicine for all our afflictions. So let us glorify the Lord. So, Krishna's, if you see anything, his glorification, no one is equal to him or above him. How is that? If you take time, for example, then Krishna says, Janmadasya yataha ahameva asanagre. Since time immemorial, Krishna says, when no one was there, I was there. He literally says, I was sitting on the throne. Ahameva asamagre. So he was there before anyone. And he created everyone. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate. Iti matva bhajanti mam buddha bhava savanmitya. Everything in the spiritual and material, it originates from Krishna. So he is the origin of everything. Origin of time itself. In his abode, time is absent. Conspicuous by its absence. So he is the originator of time itself. And who else can claim that? No one else can claim that. Of course, the insects, birds, beasts, they don't have the intelligence, so they can't claim that. They are busy doing their own, eating, drinking, sleeping, mating, defending. The human beings in the material world, in all the 14 planetary systems, even though they may be, in the land of Lord Brahma, being intelligence, being very high in intelligence, or in the Janalok, Tapalok, all other lokas where they have superior faculties of intelligence, even they don't understand him. Yeah. So, while some of them are yogis, they can't compete with Krishna. Krishna is Yogeshwar. He is a master of all mystics as well. So he can befool them. So even Lord Brahma, as I will later on, explain through the pastime, he fails to match up to the Lord. And even Lord Shiva. And these two are considered quite great, simply because Lord Brahma is the originator of this material world. Empowered, of course, by an expansion of Krishna, Lord Vishnu. So, and Lord Shiva, of course, although he is powerful, he is also in the same position, as we'll discuss later. So, Krishna, in time, Krishna is like, he is Adi, beginningless and endless. Nityo nityanam chetana chetanana eko jo bahunam nividadati kaman. So we share this. Spiritually, we are same as Krishna, of the same quality as Krishna. So we are Chaitan, which means we are spirit. Krishna is also Supreme Spirit. So the quality is the same. Quantity, of course, is not the same. We are very tiny part of Krishna, 1/10,000 part of the tip of the hair. And Krishna is, of course, trillions and trillions of 10,000 parts of the tips of the hair emanate from him. And still he remains the same, complete in himself. Like that. He doesn't reduce, but he is always increasing in his potencies, in his powers, in everything, in all faculties. Like that. So, and he is endless. Sorry, I failed to explain. Nityo Nitanam. We are eternal. He is also eternal. We are situated eternally, but right now our position is we have taken on a material body which has to be given up every whatever it is, 60, 80, 100 years, in 100 years. But Krishna has a spiritual body. So therefore he is in all cognizance, always eternally cognizant of everything. He lives like that. And Ekojo Bahunam Vidadati Kaman. That here the difference is clearly stated. Okay, you might say, oh, we are spiritually the same in quality and we are also eternal like Krishna. Then what is the difference? So the difference is that Ekojo Bahunam Vidadati Kaman. We are all dependent, no matter who we are. Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, the demigods, us, we are all dependent on Him. Why? Because He, the single one, is maintaining everyone. He is providing for everyone. Like that. No matter what we see or don't see, everything is produced by Krishna, maintained by Him, and will ultimately be destroyed by Him. So He is the supreme controller, as it is said in the verse. Like that. And then if you see Lord Krishna's name, especially in this age, it is very important because it is the Yuga Dharma, the chanting of the holy name, either in a japa or in congregation. It is very important. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who wrote the 8 verses of the Sikshastakam, he glorifies the holy name and its qualities. That everything is in the holy name. It is meant, to purify. It has subtle powers to purify us of Cheto Darpana Marjanam Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam. Yeah? We are all burning in this fire of material existence. And then what happens? The spiritual master, he pours the rain and he gives us also the holy name, which purifies us of this burning lust, anger, greed, envy, illusion, pride, madness. So, Shreya Kairava Chandrika, as cooling as the moon, we are burning, and then at night the soothing rays of the moon cools us. It is very pleasant. So that is, the holy name is like that. Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaram Vidyavadu Jivanam. It gives knowledge. Yeah? It has the potency to give Jivanam. It gives life. Yeah? We see why devotees who are following the morning program and everything, they all seem more enthusiastic than those who don't. So it gives life, like that. Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam. We are all looking for pleasure. It increases pleasure and intelligence. So then the second verse, he says that all the benedictions are there in the holy name. So we are all looking for benedictions. Because we are all suffering, we are looking for shelter and things. And all that is available in the holy name. In chanting that holy name, either alone or in congregation, then we access these benedictions like that. So then, the other verses also glorify. I won't take much time on that because I have to cover a lot. So, Krishna's name, His forms, Krishna's forms. So we see the sweet form of Shri Radha Gokulananda, how beautiful, and we admire it. And that is the twofold form. But then Krishna has millions and trillions, as many as the waves in the ocean, it is written. His expansions, incarnations, and His part and parcels. And what to speak of those? We are bewildered by even Krishna's material forms. Expansions of, the part and parcels of Krishna. By the material forms, we are bewildered. And that form is there, the material form. Prabhupada explained it is supported because the spirit soul, as long as it is in the body, the material form looks lively, looks beautiful, like that. But without the soul, it's dead. It's always dead, the material form. But we are even bewildered by that. So, behind that we should know is Krishna's form. The beauty of this material world, which we are mesmerized by the waterfalls, the scenic beauty of various mountains, rivers, streams, green lands, and the wonders of this world, Krishna says, you are all bewildered by this splendor. But all that comes from but a spark of my splendor. So we can know how beautiful Krishna's form must be. That He creates such forms even in matter, which seemingly is lifeless. Yeah? The stones, the mountains and everything. Seemingly lifeless, but so beautiful because of Krishna's being there. like that. And then Krishna, for those, who need, Krishna also shows the Virat Rupa, and, just to terrorize, people like Duryodhan, who doesn't understand his position. Then Krishna shows his form, not as the Virat Rupa, but how big and great he is, because Duryodhan wanted to catch Krishna. And Krishna then, had this form, where Duryodhan saw it, but didn't still learn from it. So, Krishna has these various forms. He comes as Kurma Dev. He comes as Varaha Dev, but all transcendental and beautiful. Even as these, Matsya Avatar and all that, he still retains his beauty, his spiritual nature, And then, of course, Lord Narasimha Dev, Lord Ram, and all that, he comes as that. And, the sages of Dandakaranya, we know, they were mesmerized by Lord Ram's beauty. And even though they didn't express it, the Lord knew their intention. And he explained to them that in this life, unfortunately, because I have taken the Ekapatni Vrat, I won't be able to satisfy your desires. But when I come in Dwapar Yuga as Krishna, I will please you all and satisfy you. So they all came as the gopis. So Krishna's form is that enchanting. And he comes in various forms, according to how the devotees want to see him. Like that. Names, forms, his pastimes. Through his pastimes, Leela Madhurya. It is one of his 4 things that are distinct. Venu Madhurya, Leela Madhurya, Rupa Madhurya, and Bhakta Sangha Madhurya. He always is with his devotees like that. So, of that Rupa Madhurya, his enchanting beauty, which attracts even millions of Cupid. Kandarpa Koti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham. He attracts millions of Cupids. Endless beauty like that. Names, forms. Pastimes, we were there. So his pastimes are also beautiful. No one can, compete with Krishna's names. As Prabhupada mentions that John Smith, if we chant John Smith or Coca-Cola, there would be no pleasure. We would give it up. But Krishna's name, if we chant persistently, not only does the taste of the tongue change, the, different limbs of the body change, but the whole life changes. What must be the potency? Why? Because Golokera Prema Dhana Harinama Sangir. It comes from the spiritual world. Like that. So, no one else's name or nothing else, in any name can compete with that. No one is equal to. No name is equal to or greater than that. Yeah? No form is greater. Of course, in the material world, everyone has a material form and is fallible. Krishna explains in the Bhagavad Gita. But in the spiritual world, everyone is in their spiritual forms. But even in that form, Krishna's form is greater. Yeah? So, like that. Then in Leela, I would like to especially, touching upon Krishna's, no one being equal to him or greater than him, then we going to Krishna's Leela, here it is mentioned he is born as son of Nanda Maharaj. So, Brajesha, Braja Isha Tanaya. What a beautiful name. He, king of Braja Isha, and son of the child of the king of Vraja. So he is born little as Lord Vishnu, first in armed form to Devaki, and then she says quickly, "Oh Lord, Kamsa will kill you. Come back to your 2-armed form." So then he changes to his 2-armed form, the Lord, out of his causeless mercy, even though he knows no one can touch him or nothing can happen to him. But Devaki, playing the part of the mother, is concerned for the child. And then we can see how the Lord, is carried as soon as he is born and carried by Vasudeva, who is told to take him to Gokul. And immediately, as soon as Vasudeva follows the instruction, immediately, all the shackles open up. The Jai Shri Shri Radha Gokulananda ki Jai. Shri Shri Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman ji ki Jai. Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So as soon as, Vasudev follows the instruction, then the shackles open, the doors of the prison open, and he carries him, the rivers of the Yamuna part. Anantadev comes, he wants to always eager to serve Lord Sri Krishna in any form, in everything he can. So he becomes a huge snake, protects Lord Krishna from the rain by covering the basket, like that. And then when he comes finally, as a small child of Yashoda and Nand Maharaj, then, in a few days' time, Nanda Kamsa sends Putana, whom he kills. Yeah? So we can see that Putana, it is described then when she is killed, she falls down and she's 12 miles, her body is 12 miles in length. And that Putana, and Krishna is in just a few days old, She is not equal to him, nor is greater than him. Even though she looks, equal to him or greater than him, like that. So Lord kills us by sucking out, the poison as well as milk from her. And that is the greatness of Krishna, that even the demons he kills, he liberates them, he gives them a great position. Because he sees the intention, he sees the good intention with which they have come. That even though she has come poisoning her breast to kill him, but there was something, the form in which she came was to feed him milk. So Krishna takes that good thing and then helps to liberate her and gives her the position of a nurse. So it is not only Krishna's actions, but his intentions are also no one is equal to or greater than. We call each other friends, devotees. Yes, Prabhu, I would like to serve you, I'm your servant. But as soon as that Prabhu is chanting better than us, doing better than service than us, then we forget that and we are envious of that Prabhu. And then we even plan how to put him down. But then Krishna, he is not like that. Even though, he gives the demon the parts to play, to defeat him and all that, initially. He takes years. Sometimes like Vara form, Hiranyaksha. He fought the Lord for 1,000 years, And sometimes the Lord, he played the role of the loser in that battle. And, he glorified Hiranyaksha. But the Lord in any form, even as the loser, he is the winner. And he keeps his intention of doing the best, because everyone is his child, he says. Even in the demon form, his intention is to purify and glorify his devotee and to give him the best position that he can, to make his advancement in any form to the point of Swarup Siddhi, his eternal position in which he serves Krishna eternally, giving Krishna pleasure. So Krishna is waiting, whether one is in demoniac form, animal form or whatever form. He's just waiting there. And he helps out wherever possible, wherever we allow him, like that. So, then Krishna kills all these demons like that, Putana, Shakatasur, Trinavarta, yeah. And ultimately one day, when Krishna, it is Lord Balram's appearance day, so Mother Rohini keeps him at home. She says, Balram, I have to keep you at home because today you have to perform austerities, you have to give in charity to the Brahmanas, beg mercy from them, like that. So Balram is kept at home and Krishna goes out with his friends and he they come to a place where Aghasura, sent by Kamsa, is sitting there with his mouth open, and eyes closed, waiting to gobble up Krishna and his cowherd boys. And they then Krishna's cowherd boys, of course, think this is wonderful. Enter Aghasura's mouth. But he is still waiting for Krishna. Krishna enters it, and then Aghasura closes, thinking, I've had him all. And like a python, I'll go and circle around a tree, breaking their bones, and then they'll die in there. So then Krishna expands like anything until Aghasura's material form can't contain Krishna. And he is broken like a rubber doll, And Krishna releases all his friends. And then they, it is written that cool breezes are blowing, The river of the Yamuna is making sounds, as the water is gushing forth through the river, The bees are humming, and the beautiful land of Vrindavan is beautified by the sun, the weather conditions, the air, the breeze flowing. And after killing the demons, Krishna, as is his pastime, he always has lunch with the cowherd boys, and they are sitting there after finding a nice place. And then as they are enjoying, Krishna exchanging each other's prasad given, Also, Krishna eats, and then, he gives it to others, and they eat that, and they are eating their prasadam, and then they give it to Krishna to eat, and then he eats what they have eaten, So, while this is going on then, Lord Brahma is watching all this, and he's thinking that how is this? I've heard that this small boy is a Yagya Purush. He's the Supreme Person. How can it be? I don't think so. Let me test him. So Brahma then, through his yogic powers, he entices the cows away, showing them green pastures, as Maya attracts us away from Krishna and away from our spiritual sound vibrations, spiritual, thoughts, words, activities, So, Lord Brahma attracts those animals away into the jungle, and the cowherd boys notice, oh, Krishna, where are the cows? They have gone. And here's another aspect. No one can equal Krishna in this, He's always the first to sacrifice. Even though he is Bhoktaram Yagna Tapasam, Sarva Loka Maheshwaram. He is, the enjoyer and beneficiary of all sacrifices, the supreme lord of all that be. Suridam Sarva Bhutanam, friend to all living entities. Yeah, that person, he leaves his own lunch and he says, no, don't worry. I'll go and look for the cows. You just enjoy here, eating your lunch. So we can see that this is another aspect of Krishna, where he is greatest, where no one can equal him or be greater. That he is, of all the pastimes that he enjoys, the greatest one he enjoys is being a Bhakta Vatsal, to serve his devotees, to provide them with pleasure, like that. So he says, I will go. And he goes. And then, of course, he goes there, and after a certain times, the best way to look for cows is to see the hoof prints. But he sees after a certain point of time, the hoof prints are not there. And then he thinks, oh, let me go back and tell my cowherd friends that this is what has happened. They have disappeared. And then when he comes back, the cowherd friends have disappeared. And then he realizes that Lord Brahma has taken them. And then, of course, he creates, another potency. Who can do this? Yeah? Even Lord Brahma, who thinks himself equal to or in a position to test Krishna, he is not able to do that, as we'll see. So Krishna expands exactly as each and every one feature of the cowherd boys and cows. And by doing that, he provides pleasure to all the mother cows and the mother of the cowherd boys, by having the reciprocation with them. And in the meanwhile, Brahma hides these boys, and he comes back to see that Krishna is expanded. into all the... He doesn't realize that, but he sees the cowherd boys there, the cows there. And he says, what's happened here? He goes back. They are there, where he has left them. And then he comes back, and then he goes. And then he's bewildered, and he knows that this person is none other than my Supreme Lord. So we can see that even the likes of Lord Brahma are not equal to him or greater than him. Even though he is playing the role of a small boy. While killing Aghasura, he was 5 years old. Yeah? And Brahma's pastime took 1 year, one whole year, according to earthly calculations. So by the time the Brahma Leela ends, Krishna was 6 years old. So Lord Brahma finds, this is my Lord. So he surrenders to him with all his 4 heads. So we can see Brahma has 4 heads, intelligence personified. Krishna has only 1 head, and that too a head of a 6-year-old. But that head is not an ordinary head. It is the head of a Supreme Personality of Godhead. Can't be equaled like that. So with his 4 heads, taking off his 4 crowns, he bows down before that Lord and says beautiful prayers which are there, which we don't have time to go through. But by the time the Leela ends, then Krishna is 6 years old, and then he brings all the cowherd boys and friends back to, he brings the cows back to his cowherd friends, and they say, hey Krishna, you just went and you've got them so soon, and even though a year has passed. But Krishna, because they were with Lord Brahma and they were sleeping, they didn't realize it, that a year had passed. And then they say, oh, just now you went and you have come. We are waiting for you. Here, come, have this morsel of, food, prasadam, like that. And then Krishna eats. And then they start going towards the village of Vraja. And on the way, Krishna shows them the skin of demon Aghasura, and they all remember that. And on that day, when they go back, they say, they glorify Krishna's pastime of killing Aghasura. Because even though a year has gone, because they were sleeping, they don't realize that Krishna's Poganda Leela, his 6-year-old Leela, have already begun. But they are still thinking that he is in his Balya Leela. They think he is his Balya Leela. So who can do that? Can anyone equal Krishna in that? Can anyone be superior to Krishna in anything? So, these reveal that we have to accept that position of the Lord, of Him being the Supreme Personality. And He is a person. He comes as a person. But He is no ordinary person. Yeah? Only the fools and rascals. Actually, Mudhas means also donkey. So, Avajananti mam mudha manushim tanumashrita. Because Krishna comes in human form, everyone thinks, oh, he is also, yes, he is a great person, but he is an ordinary person, He's just having his Leela, or he is a godly, one of the incarnations, like that. But Krishna says, no, I come, like Prabhupada explains, the king goes to the prison to have a look at the prison and, enthuse prisoners to come out of it by transforming like that. But the king can come out of the prison at any time. He is not bound by the bars. Similarly, Krishna is not bound like us by our karma. So, he comes in his spiritual form like that. His body is also spiritual like that. So, whether he is 6 years old, 5 years old, or whether he is the 125 years in Kurukshetra, he is the same Krishna, all powerful, and he is a person. But he is a supreme person because he is omnipotent, omnipresent, and omniscient. So we can see that for in the material world, Lord Brahma holds a very superior position. But here, Brahma, he finds out, he prays. In his praise, he says, oh Lord, he says, how did I think of, covering your, energy by my energy? Because I am confined to this material world, in the land of earth, water, fire, air and ether. covered by matter. And you, from your pores of your expansion, trillions and trillions of universes and persons come out. How did I even think of, testing you? So we can see that that person who we may, materially he is the topmost. No one can be more richer than Brahma, more powerful, more intelligent. All the things that we aspire for, he is that. And that person is bowing down before that little boy, who is the supreme person. You can see. And then another person who is supreme in the material world, is considered supreme, is Lord Shiva. And that Lord Shiva then, when he hears that, during the Samudra Manthan, the churning of the Milk Ocean, when the nectar came and the demigods could not stop the demons, taking the nectar, they called out to Lord Vishnu, not knowing what to do, helplessly. And then Krishna came in the form of Mohini Murti, mesmerizing the demons by his enchanting and exquisite beauty, and then taking the nectar from them, and then giving it to the demigods. Making them powerful. And they defeated the demons. So Lord Shiva, when he hears it, he says, oh my God, I should see this form. And then he requests the Lord. He says, oh Lord, I want to see that form of yours, which is so very beautiful. And Mother Parvati is there with him. And, outside all the sages are sitting who worship Lord Shiva, and including the ghosts, hobgoblins, everyone who worship Lord Shiva. Actually, because he is so merciful to them, because he is Ashutosh, so very merciful, he wants to give them Krishna consciousness. So therefore Lord Krishna loves Lord Shiva so much that he is a preacher who gives the glories to everyone, especially to the most fallen in this material world. This Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu, this topmost Vaishnava. But we can see that this Vaishnava also, can fall in illusion like Lord Brahma. So he says, yes, O Lord, I want to see that Lord, that form of yours. And then Mohini Murti, Lord Krishna asks, are you sure about this? Because even the demigods, they got the demons got enchanted by it. And they also have yogic powers. So are you sure you want to do that? So he said, yes, O Lord. So then Lord Krishna turns into Mohini Murti. And when Lord Shiva sees, he just forgets everything. Because the Lord, whatever he does, is inconceivable. Inconceivably attractive. And when he sees that form, he is overtaken by lust and started chasing Mohini Murti, leaving Mother Parvati sitting there, And then he chases, and outside all the, sages who worship him, they are saying their Supreme Lord, Lord Shiva, chasing this woman, Mohini Murti. And they are saying, what is happening? And then Lord Shiva chases and chases. And ultimately Lord Shiva even ejaculates. He comes to that position. And then Lord Krishna, comes into his form and he tells Lord Shiva that this is why I didn't want to, show you that form. But you asked for it. And then Lord Shiva shows his greatness. He shows why he is the topmost Vaishnava. That he says, oh Lord, who else can do this? You are so great that you can bewilder even us, whom you have given so many potencies. So I bow down before you and before your enchanting form. He is not at all ashamed, or he doesn't feel anything, because he knows that it is only the Supreme Lord who can bewilder him. He knows, and Lord Brahma knows, that they are not equal and they are not supreme. They know their position very well. And therefore Krishna has given them that supreme position, that many powers, endowed them with that. And Lord Brahma actually, after the in the Leela, after the Leela, he begs that, I don't want this position of mine. Don't want anything of this material world. I just want to be a blade of grass somewhere in Vrindavan. So that some days, when your pure devotees, those gopis, they walk on me as a grass, and the dust of their lotus feet rubs on me, then I will develop that humility and their mood in which I can serve you. I long for that. And this is the supreme, most richest, most intelligent person in this material planet. Similarly, Lord Shiva also placed to Lord Krishna that I don't mind, being fooled by you again and again, as long as it's you. Because these pastimes, they show me my position, make me humble, and make me serve you in the right spirit. Right? So we can see that Lord Krishna's position is like that. No one can be equal to him. No one can be superior to him in any form. Like that. And then that's Lord Sri Krishna. He especially comes in this age of Kali as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as is given here. And Nityanand Prabhu, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is actually Radha Krishna combined. Krishna, of course, is, he even says in the Bhagavad Gita, don't preach this science to the faithless, because they can misuse it, taking this knowledge and then, using it for their own selfish purposes. So don't give it to them. But Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, being the combination of Radha and Krishna, he has that, the kindness and munificence of a mother. A mother is always kind to the children. And therefore, having that of Srimati Radharani, then they distribute the fruits of the tree of love of Godhead to everyone, whether they are qualified or not qualified. And even Jagai and Madai, they gave it to them, the least qualified, just to show us that this is available to all, so that we may not think, though I am not qualified. So, and then the whole process that is given is surrender to this Supreme Personality of Godhead, Brajesha Tanaya, to whom no one is equal in anything, whether it be the intention, whether in giving shelter, we are always seeking shelter, because we are always helpless, because we always find ourselves not being able to deal with the situations of this material world. Yeah, we find ourselves weak and helpless. Yeah, and we go to our parents, to our families, friends. We take shelter of our education, the degrees, the position, networking, pleasing the people in powerful places to get powerful positions, even in devotional life, so that we can, play a certain role, look good or whatever that is, that thing. But all those positions, they are temporary. People holding them are also temporary. Those are just the positions given to them. And ultimately, they can't help us, because we also bring our karma. So even if they help us, they are bound by that. We are bound by taking shelter of fallible soldiers. But ultimately, if we take shelter of Krishna, especially in this age through his holy name, then that is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu brings, Lord Nityananda brings. Then, you have the shelter of one to whom no one is equal. No one can equal him. He has that many powers. His opulence, all his opulences exceed that of anyone. In fact, everything rests upon him, he says. So everything that we see in this world, the wealth of everyone, the beauty of everyone, the strength of everyone, the wisdom of everyone, the renunciation of everyone, is all there in Krishna. So why then take shelter of anyone except for him? But our philosophy that is given is Mahajano Yena Gatha Sapanta. That one who takes shelter of Krishna and thinks, oh yes, that is everything, then I don't want anyone. That is also wrong. He is a Kanishta Adhikari. Then, Mahajana Yana Gatasapanta means we have to take shelter of those who have taken shelter of Krishna. But we have to find those souls. That is very important. Because those souls are very rare. So our spiritual masters and all, they are those souls. And we have to take shelter of them. That is very important. We have to find out first who those souls are. Otherwise we may be, even in devotional life, we may be fooled by people who really aren't in those positions, of those positions of giving shelter and guiding us to the real path of Krishna consciousness. Like that. So these Mahajans, they give us that path. And even though no one is equal to or greater than Krishna, then that great Krishna, what does he take pleasure in? He takes pleasure in being even lower than his greatest devotees. He takes pleasure in serving his devotees. Bhatta Vatsal, Dina Bandhu, Karuna Sindhu, Daya Nidhan, Dinanath, He is so merciful that as soon as he sees anyone doing even a little bit for him, then he immediately gives himself to them and serves them. And therefore Chaitanya Mahaprabhu brings this process where he shows that devotional service to Krishna is greater than Krishna, because it makes even the Supreme Personality of Godhead serve that particular devotee who gives himself to him. Like that. So I'll stop there. I think my time is up. If there are any questions, comments, realizations.